So we were at a 4th of July party and the conversation turned to annoying habits of our partners.
I know it did.
And I learned that one of my annoying habits for you is swishing coconut oil in my mouth in the mornings.
Yes, I wasn't too enamored with that at the time. Thankfully, you've stopped doing that.
I did. Probably because you're annoyed by it.
I don't know that I was that annoyed by it.
Well, maybe I'll start doing it again.
No, I don't think you should. I think there are probably other things that you do that are more annoying.
Yes, what's that?
Well, am I allowed to talk about the finger picking thing?
Yes.
Because you don't really do that much these days. But I do find that I'm not really bothered by it anymore. But Rohini would pick her fingers, and I don't know, I didn't like it. It's like she's picking her fingers, and it felt like she was hurting herself. And I could just imagine if I did the same, it would really hurt me. So then I would just imagine the pain, and it would disturb and distress me. Plus, added to which I thought she was a little bit mental doing it as well, which is even more disturbing because I'm married to her. I'm married to a mad woman. I think that's what was behind. That was probably what was behind it all.
You didn't know that already before you married me?
No, that just confirmed it.
So how did you get out? I mean, I did significantly stop doing it. Maybe I have occasional lapse once in a while.
Well, I guess I did realise that it was really, I was creating the suffering inside my own head. It was just my thinking that was creating the suffering, and that really, if you want to gnaw away at your fingers, that you're really the only one that's going to be suffering with that. Which sounds a little bit selfish, actually, when I say that out loud. But I think that I was able to move on.
Well, I think that was actually really helpful because whenever you would mention it, it would always feel like a criticism.
Yeah, and then you want to do it more.
And
which is even more annoying.
To do it more because I'd feel like you're telling me to stop doing something, and I didn't like that.
And then I think when I ever got to the point where I felt like I did have to say something, then there was this sort of there would be like this sort of atmosphere of belligerence, because I would be anticipating you getting all up and mighty about it, and that would make me even more annoyed. So I was just ready for a fight.
Well, why did you feel so compelled to say something? Why couldn't you just ignore it?
Because I needed it to stop. I couldn't stand it.
I'm sorry.
I know, but I mean, it feels like I don't say anything anymore. And anyway, you rarely do it. And occasionally you might, and then I find I'm actually not at all bothered by it.
And that's what I was saying, is that it was really helpful to me for you not to ask me to change. That actually made it easier for me to change. Because whenever I felt like you needed me to change, I felt criticized.
You felt defiant.
And I got defiant.
Yeah. I used to have these really, I don't know, habits used to be very much a feature of being a teenager at school, being a sort of in-betweener. There were all these kids who had these really crazy habits, which I think probably were just sort of weird tics. But I remember one thing that that we started, I don't know who started doing it, but someone started making this stupid noise in class. It would be like, oh, oh, oh. People go like that, oh. Maybe with not the same cadence, a little bit higher because of the age. And then someone would do it on one side of the room, then someone would do it on the other side of the room. And the teacher's running around, who's doing that, And someone would go, oh, oh, oh. And then I think it sort of like got into people's system somehow. And then you would find people were doing it kind of sort of in well, it was always abnormal, but outside the designated time, which was to get a rise out of the teacher. So people would be wandering around the school going, oh, oh, oh. And then I think it sort of became a bit of a tic. And there was this one kid I knew who then it sort of evolved in rather this sort of high pitch, oh, the end just became this, he was just doing that the whole time, he sounded like a guinea pig or a hamster or something. And then I actually have to confess I found myself doing it too.
You sounded like a guinea pig?
But I had to do it in threes.
Oh my God, so you were OCD.
I had to go, something like that. I don't know, I remember having to do it in threes, but I remember there was a whole contingent of kids that were sort of making this weird noise, and then it became this habit. So it just...
What kind of school did you go to?
Speaks volumes about the school. School for loonies, I guess.
And so you just grew out of it?
I did grow out of it, but then I got a bit of a thing for threes too, and I think that was the genesis of my having to do things in threes for a while.
Do you still have the thing for threes?
No, but I went through a long period of my life with, there was a sort of weird OCD thing about doing things in threes.
So you just grew out of that too?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm growing out of my picking habit.
You are.
Yeah.
You are. That's very impressive.
And I think in terms of couples, it's helpful to realize that the other person's behavior doesn't determine how you feel.
Exactly.
Like my picking wasn't really
Yeah.
doing anything
Yeah.
to you, but you were wanting me to change so you could feel okay.
I know. I did. That's true, actually. And now I can't really be bothered about it. I guess I'm evolving.
I wonder if you're going to start hooting.
I might have to reprise that idea.
I'll see if I can maintain my equanimity if you start hooting.
Maybe in the face of your picking, I'll do that. Let's see what happens.
All right. Well, have a good weekend, everybody.
Bye.